Hi, and welcome to Neo Does Makeup. I'm Neo, and today I unfortunately did not have enough time to record a makeup tutorial, so that's why it's very barefaced, but I'm very on the go today, so I had a little bit of time, and I was trying to film this video the other day, but my camera cut out. I wanted to do a dedicated anti-haul and products that just not personally worked for me, and yeah, so let's get into it. The first thing I want to mention is there's just one product I found that made me question my sanity. I know some people are gonna be like, oh no, but it's a personal thing. I'm like, okay, yeah, but this company must have been like planning in advance. I don't know how they got into the trend so quickly, but there is a fidget spinner lip gloss collection. It's a fidget spinner with 3 lip glosses. They are strawberry, peach, and grape. And this is called the Taste Beauty Glam Spin. I'll probably like try to put up a picture. And it's $10. And I might put up like my original post, my original thoughts about this. But think about that for a moment. 3 lip glosses in a fidget spinner. You're getting 3 little different pots of lip glosses in a fucking fidget spinner. Why the fuck would you want that? Unless you're like a 3-year-old girl. Okay, not really a 3-year-old. Maybe like 10, yeah. Like 10, 12, I get that. But like, if you're selling this in Sephora, why? Just move over to Walgreens and then you'll be selling like hotcakes. I mean, I get it, like a company's like doing something really fast because it's a huge, like, popular item. Okay, I'm not bashing the company for that, but really? A fidget spinner with makeup? I expected better. Like, come on, at least do Beyblade. My whole point is, really? Really? Do we need this in our lives? No. I have like a little list right here of things that just I want to get to. Okay, so let me go through the list of the things that I'm not going to be getting anytime soon. So, unfortunately, the first thing I'm going to say is the Kat Von D Shade and Light Glimmer Palette. It does look beautiful, and I love like metallic shades, but having experienced this in store, gone through and looked at it, hold on, let me just take these off because of that glare. And instantly I become more blind. But having gone in store and looked at it, it's beautiful. Won't deny that. Will some people love it? Yes. Is it for me? No. The main reason I say that is because the shades that I had swatched were really nice, but it felt like you needed something underneath them to hook them. And similar to a product that I have later on this list, I'm not a fan of just having straight up glitter only. I like to have something matte, something that I can use to transition in, and because I do this channel, I try to stick to one palette per time. So there's another palette later on I'm going to talk about that didn't work for me. So I don't think the glimmer palette worked for me, but if it works for you, congrats, you're lucky. Next thing on here is the Subculture palette. I know, big surprise, woohoo, Subculture. Very few people love it. For me, I saw it and I was like, I'm literally in a beauty makeup group on Facebook, and I saw someone post about it originally, and I was just like, nah, it's not for me. It's a no for me, but if you like that, go for it. Personally, the colors aren't my choice. I mean, if I wanted a palette with that type of color, I'd probably get the Jeffree Star Androgyny palette because it has more products in it, and you also get a few other shades that I find more useful, but I also have the editorial palette by Sephora collection. So I don't see it as something that I necessarily need for myself. Another note with the Subculture palette, the other reason I'm not going to be getting it is because I played with it in stores as well, and it didn't impress me all that much at all. And I know I had a very poor experience with the Anastasia Beverly Hills Modern Renaissance palette, and I tried to film a tutorial with that, it just didn't work out because I had to go in so much to try to grab any pigment from that palette. And I've talked to representatives from Anastasia's whenever they're like in Sephora stores, and I don't realize that they're representatives. I tell them about my experience. They look at me as if I had 3 heads, and my name was Cerberus. I was bringing them to hell. But then again, I might just have a bad palette. I could try it again and possibly fall in love with it because it is such a. At least the tones in it are beautiful. My cousin called it the 21 Pilots palette. I was like, yeah, I kind of see that. And I just had a bad experience with it. But am I completely knocking Anastasia? No. I mean, they have 2 of my favorite. Well, they actually have a lot of different single shadows I absolutely love. But I only have 2 right now. Yeah, Anastasia is a good brand. I mean, I really do want to try their blush trios that just came out. I mean, for me, that looks really nice, especially the peachy one and the pink one. I think those 2, yeah. Next is the Kylie birthday collection. Plain simple. I'm not a fan of pink all that much. I mean, I will do pink looks because, like, pink's okay. But a whole pink-inspired collection is just not for me. Unless it's like a Rose Quartz, because I don't know why. If you have like the name Rose Quartz in it, I'm just drawn to it. I want it. It's just me. Now, I will say, having seen like people's reviews on it, I think it's a very pretty collection, but again, just not for me. Although I would say the highlighter king, yeah, that I would say, like, yes, I'll grab that. Next I had the Smashbox, stick concealer that foundation that they just came out with the contour shade as well. I personally, I guess I'm just not the biggest stick foundation fan, because I also tried another stick foundation, which was a NARS foundation, which is all new, so I guess I'll include that in there too. But from what I've seen of them, it's very low coverage for what I prefer, and so it's just not for me. I don't think stick foundations are for me. I'll stick to my liquids for now. Might try the Hourglass if I ever get the money, because I hear that one's incredible, so I do want to try it. So now here's where I have to have like a little mini rant. And I just have to put my computer down to the side so I'm not holding onto it and hurting myself. There's a brand that they have entire collections coming out. I'm just looking at it, I'm like, really? That's what you're doing? This is your 2017? Really? And I know I could probably get a lot of hate for this, but I'm just not really impressed at all at what Too Faced is coming out for with this year. I mean, I've tried the Glitter Bomb palette. Not impressed. I mean, really, I went to a VIP Rouge event where I got early access to try it, and I was just like, okay, that's it. Like, I mean, the matte black was nice, but that's basically it. The other shades were just there. And I mean, it doesn't even come with a glitter glue, which if you're going to have like a Glitter Bomb palette, include your glitter glue. It's like the best selling glitter glue. Come on. The whole peach collection stuff is not for me because the peach smell is too strong, and that will give me a migraine, so I can't use any of that. The setting spray smells too much like coconut. I like the primer. I like the hangover primer because it has like a cucumber scent to help mellow out the coconut, and it's bearable. No, it's a mint. One of the two, and it's bearable at least for me. But a lot of the stuff that they're coming out with just isn't going to work for me. And I know I've seen their Christmas collection. I'm like, okay, that just looks boring. The packaging is cute. The packaging is cute as fuck. But the whole palettes are just boring. I mean, the Clover collection, I was just like, not for me. So a lot of the stuff that they're coming out with just isn't for me. And even like I had the Sweet Peach palette. You know, I used that one time. I just wasn't a big fan of it. And even though I had it engraved, I wish I could have brought it back because it just didn't work for me. Instead, I ended up donating it to a friend who loves it now. And has my name in it, so I guess every time she uses it, she does for me. Anyway, that's just like a mini rant of this year for Too Faced. Plus, well, Oh yeah, I can't even use their foundations or concealers because they have coconut in it. I'm like, my stance with Too Faced also goes a little skewed a little bit because in the whole thing with Jeffree exposing Too Faced, I did my research and I also looked at other stuff as well. I think it is wrong for a company to bash another company for something that everyone likes and uses, unicorns. And then also the possibility of them like really messing it up with Nicki, who is someone I look up to. She's a very talented woman. She deserves what she would get. And I mean that in the best of ways. I don't mean like if anything bad happens to her, that's what she deserves. No. I mean, she had something that I personally bought. I had the Nicki Tutorial palette. I want to support her. But I actually brought it back because it just didn't work for me at all. It was so sad. It's just... Too Faced is like the things that I've tried have constantly let me down, except for one thing. But whenever they started calling out customers as clowns, I was like, okay, you just lost all my respect and my business until you say that you are sorry. Until you at least apologize for what you have said. Like, to me, your customers are your customers and they're people who want to support you. If you're going to, like, say something bad about them, that means you're saying stuff that's bad about yourself, because they're the people that help you and support you. I'm sorry, I know I got way off topic there, but it's just something that I've had in my head, and I guess it just finally came out. Okay, so now we're going to go into stuff that didn't work for me. One, the Nicki Tutorials palette. I'm kidding. So the first thing I want to say is actually something I have right here. This is the Saint Tropez One Night Only Gloss. And at first I thought it was a lip gloss until you open it. I do my usual look into what it is, and I realized, oh, it's a gloss for the skin. And you look at it and you're like, okay, well that's like a little dark for my skin. It's supposed to be like a self-tanner. Not a self-tanner, but like a tanning liquid that you can put on and you're like, it looks super bronzy and get nice. This just looks oily on my skin. I already have oily skin, so I'm like, yeah, no, not for me. I got this as a sample from Sephora. Just whenever I went to go get the Urban Decay liquid lipstick in Conspiracy. I also got a sample of Amulet, which is a beautiful color. I love it. And she also gave me this. It's a sample to try. And I will say I am honestly not impressed. It looks too oily on my skin. People who have dry skin might like this, but for me, it's a no. So one thing that didn't work for me as well were two Urban Decay products. They were both face palettes. If you know, I used to use the Urban Decay Naked Trio in Naked, I believe, and the bronzer was nice. It worked pretty well. The blush was too pigmented, and the highlighter was dry. I mean, for me, it was just dry. All three powders were actually kind of dry, but it was just a thing of it not working out for me. It just wasn't like what I was preferring. I guess I just prefer different products, like the Becca blushes. Those are super nice. They are very pigmented, but you can knock it off and then go on your set. With the Urban Decay one that I had, with that Naked palette, you'd knock some off, go on, and still be like too much. So for me, it just didn't work. The highlighter was just meh. I mean, Wet n Wild has better highlighters, just being completely honest. And the other thing was the Jean-Michel Basquiat face palette. Now, I'm so sad, so sad that it didn't work out because I love supporting artists. I love how the packaging looked. And I mean, I really did. I thought I was like, ooh, pretty. And then I did my research on Jean-Michel, and he's very talented, and I respect him a lot. But that collaboration just was not for me, I guess. Because every time, except for the first time I used it, every time afterwards, I felt like I had a bad makeup day. Like, after the first use, it felt like the bronzer was just too red for me, and I was like, ooh, I don't know about that. The pink blush was okay. It wasn't as pigmented as the other one, which was nice, because then that means I could easily build it up, but it just honestly, it was just inconsistent because there were times where it'd be like, okay, yeah, that's good, and there'd be other times where I'm like, okay, I need to apply more because it's not working. And the purple blush, it was just not for my skin tone, I guess. It worked from time to time, but it just was not nice for me. And then the highlighter, which is the most disappointing thing because the first time I tried it, you probably remember, I was just like, oh, Urban Decay, this is the formula you need to use. But as I continued to use it, it just wasn't as pigmented. It stopped being super creamy and pigmented, and it just was like, oh yeah, that's like something. So it just didn't work for me, and those were two things that I was like, oh, that's sad. So next on the list is the Maybelline Fit Me foundation. So the Maybelline Fit Me foundation is a mixed bag, and there's another foundation I'll talk about later on that was also a mixed bag, because the Maybelline it had a beautiful finish, and I loved how it looked on the skin, but I felt like I had to use so much of it because of how underpigmented it was. I mean, I go back to my Milani, I'm like, blending, no problem. Gone. Loved it. So pigmented. It's more creamy. I just prefer it. Same with my Kat Von D, my Clinique Beyond Perfecting. And my Clinique is more liquidy, but it still has a nice color payoff. The Maybelline just didn't. It's sad because so many people love it, and I was just like, aw, I tried. So the other foundation that I said didn't work for me was the Tarte Clay Stick. It's so sad because I wanted to love it so much. I mean, I remember watching like everyone on Snapchat loving it at the reveal events and everything, and I was just like, oh, I want to try that. I tried it. I tried to make it work, but every time I used it, I also felt like I had a bad makeup day. And it just disappointed me. At the same time, I loved how it looked on the skin. But it's just like I put anything on top of it and it just would not work. It felt like I aged myself over 10 years wearing it. But then again, it just didn't work for me, so I've seen other people who absolutely love it. And I loved how much color payoff you got from it. It's just that it didn't work well on my skin, so I had to say goodbye. Okay, so now that we're on the topic of Tarte, let's talk about the other palettes that didn't work for me. The other palette, I said I had palettes that that barely had any mattes, and I hate it because I loved the packaging, I loved the theming, I loved the smell, and the highlighter that came with it. And if you don't know what I'm talking about the Tarte Make Believe in Yourself palette. I mean, basically you had a transition color for the crease, and that was it. The rest was all glitter, glimmer, metallic, whatever you want to call it. And they all looked beautiful, but I was just looking at them like, I can't think of anything to use this with though. I had one tutorial that I thought like, oh yeah, that's it, I can use this. And after that, I was like, okay, got nothing else for it. So the next thing I'm going to talk about is the Estee Edit Sheer Bronzer. I used it one time, there was no pigment. So then what did I do? I brought it back and I got a NARS bronzer. First time I used it, it was super nice. Every time after that, because I was trying to make that work so much. Ugh, it's sad. I would have to literally dig in the pan with my brush for a minute and barely get any color, get 2 stamps of color on my cheeks. Then I had to go in and take care of all the rest of the face. And it just took up so much time. But it looked nice on the skin, but it took up too much time because it was so densely packed. So then I brought that back. Then I got the Becca Sunlit Bronzer, and oh my gosh, I love how they look. I love Becca's packaging. Like, those compacts are iconic. They are. Especially in that bronze packaging. I'm like, slay me. But it was too red for my skin. So unfortunately, I had to bring that one back too. Another product that I had to bring back because it just didn't work for me was the Benefit Cheek Parade, which came out last summer. I used it once on my channel, and I used it one other time before, and every time I used it, it's just like, yeah, no, this isn't working. First of all, the Hoola bronzer just looks muddy on me. I've tried the Hoola Light, and I've also tried the sticks in store, and every time I use it, it just looks muddy. It looks weird for my skin tone, which I understand doesn't work for everyone. But in that cheap Parade palette, everything I used except for the Rocketeer had no pigment. I could take brushes that I can use for anything else and they work beautifully. But if you take it for that palette, it just didn't work. There was no pigment for some reason. Okay, so kind of staying on Benefit, but also including Anastasia, I'm now going to say that I cannot use brow pencils. I tried both the Cabral and the brow definer. Both looked really nice, but at the same time, I spent so much more time with those than I do with a brow pomade. So I'm going to stick to the pomades because those are working for me. But both the brow definer and the Cabral were just too dry. I mean, they would both work out really nicely, but the problem was they would both break while I'm using the thinner side to like fill in my brows, like to line them and then fill them in, and they would break. They both broke multiple times. So it just became a problem for me that I was like, okay, you know what? I'm going to stop using that. And now I'm using the Benefit, not Cabral, oh no, I was wrong. I used the Benefit Goof Brow Pencil. That's what it was. I'm using the Cabral now, and that is working out so much better for me. Because it's like, just fill it in, you're done. A little bit of using a spoolie and like your brows are good, you're done. But using the Goof Proof and the brow definer just didn't work for me. And those are the last things I have on this list. One more thing that probably won't get is the Heat palette, the Urban Decay Naked Heat palette, just because I have the Sephora Pro Warm palette, which, guess what? I'm doing a giveaway for, so if you want to check that out, the video is going to be linked up here. But other than that, that's it for this video. I know it's a little negative, but I just want to say that there are some things that a lot of people love and like, and there's some things that just don't work out for them. And these are some things that I know I'm not going to try because A, they probably won't work for me, or B, I'm just not interested in, and the other parts are things that just haven't worked for me in general. So yeah, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. If you'd like to see more of me and my videos, and stuff that's not so negative and more positive, uh, please do subscribe and click that little bell button, and every time I release a new video, you'll get a notification. Please do like, comment, and subscribe if you'd like to see more of me. And yeah, I don't know what else to say except thank you. I hope you enjoyed this, and I'm sorry that it was so negative and long, but it happens. But thank you for watching, and I hope you have a great day or night wherever you are. Bye.